Hey y'all, Nick Horton here, the Iron Samurai, and this is another episode of Weightlifting Academy. There's a lot of research that's been done on happiness and self-satisfaction throughout a person's life, and it turns out that as a rule, people in 3 different stages of adult life tend to feel completely different about the world and about everything, and that perception of the world has a powerful impact on how happy they feel. This impacts your weightlifting dramatically. It's a huge deal how you perceive the world, life, and everything in it, and how that is going to affect your actual action, what you do when you are in the gym. So psychologists have grouped people, adults, these studies into 3 basic categories: young adults, older adults, and middle-aged adults. But to make it more fun and more relevant to us, I'm going to rename them. And I'm going to say young weightlifters, as young adult weightlifters, advanced masters athletes, and masters athletes. That's just going to be the middle-aged group. We're just calling you masters. You're not advanced, you're just a masters, that's all. Turns out that younger adult athletes and advanced masters athletes are substantially happier with life. And the reason is just about perception. The younger athletes perceive the world to be full of possibilities. Everywhere they look, there's a new option, another possible road they could take. As you might suspect, that leads to a much more positive outlook on life. Advanced masters athletes, or older adults, they also perceive the world very differently. In their case, it has to do with stress levels and anxiety. They have less stress. They don't have as much anxiousness about the world. They're wise enough to know that the stressors of today are probably not that big a deal. That leads to much more general happiness about life, and as a coach, I can tell you it leads to much better training. But less advanced masters athletes, middle-aged folk, don't have either. They have the worst of all worlds. They no longer view the world as full of lots of possibilities, and they are fucking stressed about everything. Problem is that they are wrong on both counts, and as a coach of many masters athletes, I have to deal with this all the time, and it's the thing, that's the thing that changes somebody from being just one more person who's a negative fucking Nancy to being someone who's a successful member of my team, is getting them over that shit. Obviously, there are people of all age groups who could have these negative psychological tendencies. That's not unique to age, and there's plenty of people who are middle-aged or regular masters athletes who don't have those tendencies at all. But, as the research has generally shown, and it totally jives with my experience as a coach, most people in that just general middle-aged category really have a hard time believing that they have the possibilities that are available to younger people, and they have a very hard time dealing with the regular stresses and disappointments and all that kind of stuff that comes through really hard training. And like I said, it really is just a perception problem. It's complete bullshit. You never, ever, as long as you're still living, have less possibilities. There's always new things you can do. If you start writing a novel today, in 10 years of doing that consistently, you're going to be amazing in comparison to where you are now. And you had to start that journey somewhere. You might as well start now if that's something that you want to do. That never went away. But many people who are in the middle-age category have a tendency to believe that if they didn't start doing something in their 20s or even younger, then fuck it. There's no reason to even start. That's so fucking dumb. Of course you can start. You're not dead. Are you dead? Seriously, are you dead? No? Then start. Similarly, the lesson of the older lifters, the people who have that wisdom to know that the negative things that are happening now, they really aren't that big a deal. They're transient. That kind of wisdom, we don't have to leave that for old age. You can start developing that now. I like that they call it Masters Weightlifting because it is something you should try to master. You should become a master of not just weightlifting, but of your life, of your mind. And if you do that, not only are you going to lift a lot more weight, you'll be less of a negative bastard.